What is up, everybody? I'm your host, Berkan and Adam, along with my good buddy
Adam Nacy here with BA
in PAX. Episode 6. We made it. Another week.
Yo.
We're surviving. I gotta love it. I'm excited to be back once again, as I'm sure Adam is. Thank you guys so much for tuning in for a little over 6 hours worth of us just babbling so far. So we appreciate it. It is definitely amazing. We're going to get right into it this week. We have a pretty good episode planned out for you guys. But first, our version of house cleaning is kind of showing off weekly pickups. And I kind of really like this because every time we've done this, mine has been like the modern era of the hobby, and Adam's has been a bunch of old school, which I think is really cool. So you can certainly guess that tonight is going to be no different. So Adam, I'll let you go first.
So the funny thing for me is my pickups occasionally are eBay finds. I'll probably do a longer video just about this for anybody who actually cares. But I've challenged myself to do a full-on rainbow. The rainbow challenge is what I'm calling it. Maybe I'll do a rainbow challenge update video, but I have gotten one of the next pieces of the rainbow challenge. I decided to go with Mosaic. For those of you who may have missed one of our previous episodes, I went with Mosaic because they have so many parallels. It'll be a lot of fun. I wanted to find a player who is kind of under the radar, not really on anybody's radar because it'll be cheap and fun. So I chose a local player, Dwight Powell, for the Mavericks. So this is my most recent Dwight Powell Mosaic Rainbow pickup. It is a snake skin numbered to 20.
Love it. Just think of it this way. Some person got a Mamba pack and ripped it and pulled a Dwight Powell out of 20. That's a $3,000 packs. Getting up there.
Hopefully they didn't buy it. Hopefully they got it. I mean, there's no hopefully about it. I mean, I would be very frustrated if I submitted a redemption for Mamba auto and got Dwight Powell. I'm sure they got, it's what, 2 cards in the
it's like
2 or
4
3
or something like that. But
so they probably got a
duds.
good rookie or something like that. So
have you seen a lot of those ripped?
I have seen quite a bit of them. Yeah.
I've seen some duds where Dwight Powell is your highlight.
Yeah, I got the Dwight Powell. And then another part of what makes my finds a little different than yours is because I have a bunch of older cards that are in boxes that I just go through sporadically. And I found we were talking last week about Russell Westbrook and the investment value now that he's the triple-double leader in NBA history. So I went and looked and I found what looks like just a regular Russell Westbrook. A Russell Westbrook card. It's a Donruss Elite black box. But it's actually a parallel status, black status. I don't know if you can even see. I'm trying to get it where you can see them.
They look sweet.
Yeah. So it's pretty cool. But it's numbered 2 of 5. So yeah, it's a parallel, pretty cool. I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Mavericks on the back too. Yeah, the Mavs cameo.
Yeah, they're playing the Mavs. Maybe it's when they got their butts kicked in the NBA playoffs.
Or maybe it's when the Mavs kicked their butts in the NBA playoffs.
No, it actually is. It is the Mavs series because I see Peja Stojakovic's head right there and Jason Kidd right there.
Brilliant.
And who was in the back? And Tyson. Oh no, that's Caron Butler. So this is earlier in the year.
Dang.
But it's in 2011.
Yeah, it's 2011.
That year.
Page's trademark 2011.
Yep. So that's pretty cool. So that's my find. What about you, Berkan? What are you rolling with this week?
My rolling. This week I have had one pickup, but I do a lot of off-camera pulls. I've decided to embrace it. I just pull better off camera. Can't help it. If you're listening, that sounds different than what I'm actually saying, but to each their own. But I had 4 pretty good pulls on Saturday. Starting with a good PC hit, I have a Lucas Supernova Fractal from Revolution, one of my favorite products.
Pretty sweet.
I got a LaMelo Ball from the same pack. Groove of Revolution
pack right there.
It's a pretty good pack.
And there's my dog. She'd like to make an appearance.
Finley. Hello, Finley. Special guest Finley. Finley's excited for my pools.
And for those of you who don't know, Finley is a female golden doodle. All of you don't know. And she is named after a male athlete, Michael Finley.
Michael Finley, if you're watching this, you should be honored. I'd be honored.
She wants my attention, apparently.
So my next pool was this Jordan Love, perfect timing. Purple select concourse, and then my last pool was a Joe Burrow silver select premier level, which 2 months ago you'd be super excited. It'd probably be a cornerstone of your collection, but because of select being in retail, their prices have skyrocketed and plummeted. And so that it's actually a pretty affordable card. But my only pickup, my true pickup this week is just for the Mavs PC out of 20. I got a Josh Green from Absolute, the Spalding
cool.
S. I thought it was pretty cool.
Pretty neat. He's getting some playing time too.
Yeah, he is. It was like $20. I was like, why not? Good Mavs PC there. I've decided it's my goal every year to get something cool of the Mavs rookies. I don't really care if they're good, just because it's fun for me.
Until they're not on the team anymore.
Because
I did that for a while too. Was it Justin Anderson? I had like a whole bunch of Justin Anderson stuff, and I was like,
I kind of like the idea of going back and like seeing who our rookies were, and I think that's a cool like keepsake, because you never know. Sometimes, usually they go off to a different team. They're better.
When you see I showed you my Josh Howard.
I did.
Rookie auto SP Authentic from
Washington
LeBron,
Wizards legend
from the LeBron rookie year.
Yeah.
Also Marquise Daniels Topps Chrome refractor that I have from that year.
See, I think that'd be cool. See, I wish I had those autos just because that was like my childhood. Not aging myself, but that's my childhood. So I remember going to the American Airlines Center and seeing those guys hoop. It was pretty cool.
Yep.
But yeah, I even went back and I got a Dennis Smith Jr. Noir RPA.
Maybe he'll make a comeback.
25 or something like that. Yeah, maybe. I thought he would. He did have some good games with the Pistons, so I'm hoping a good offseason with a good organization.
Yeah, and they've got a good coach. They've got a good young core. So we'll see what happens there. That doesn't necessarily mean anything. They need what the Suns got. They need a veteran to come in and whip them into shape.
Yeah, I think so too. Now, we started off talking about basketball. We're going to transition into football. This is probably going to be our most football heavy episode. Of course, when the basketball offseason rolls around, it's probably going to be more often football talk than basketball. But this is our first really big football episode, and I feel like it's only fitting to do a self plug. So, Adam, I'm sorry, but I'm going to do some housekeeping, and I'm going to shamelessly promote a very special thing that's happening on June 11th and June 18th. 12 Mighty Orphans is coming to theaters.
Say it slower. What is it?
12 Mighty Orphans.
Is that a movie?
It is a movie by Sony Pictures Classic. Coming to theaters everywhere near you. It is a story about a football coach who denies a very prestigious coaching position to come teach at an orphanage. It's a true story based off of bestseller as well. It took place in Fort Worth, Texas. And this coach basically takes this group of orphans who have nothing. They play barefoot in like fields. They work, and he whips them into a incredible football team that really just takes the nation by storm in a time during the Great Depression. So it's an incredibly uplifting story. And if you look very closely, you may see a familiar face.
It's not me.
Are you sure? Yeah, you may see a familiar face. I've had the incredible honor to play Daniel, a featured role, so I won't be the only yapping you'll hear from me is on the BA and PAX podcast. You won't hear me talk in this movie, but you'll definitely see me. So I'm super excited. It is my debut. And yes, so shameless plug. We're less than a month away from that happening. It will also be in Tribeca Film Festival, which you can get your tickets now for like $15 to see it on your computer if you don't want to go out to the movie theater. So I'm super excited about that. And that is my shameless plug.
Hey, I'm excited to see it, man. I'm really proud of you. It's a lot of work you did. I remember we were working together at the time of most of the filming, so I know all the time it took.
Yeah,
I'm excited to see it.
I took a month off work, and UNT gave me a month off school. I was shocked, but they gave me a month off, and I made the most of it. And it's funny, I've auditioned thousands and thousands of times for a variety of different projects. Didn't even audition for this one.
That's
just
pretty awesome.
incredibly lucky. So I'm excited for you guys all to see it. I'll leave a link to the trailer in the description below, so please check it out. And you will see me. I'll give a crisp high five to anyone who's able to point me out. I'm only in it for about 0.2 seconds, but I'm in it. All right, so moving on, a brand new release. We've released a video of it, but NFL Score, and Adam has some opinions.
Shocker. So I mean, you busted the box, so I know I don't want to tease too much of your or take away from the video there, but what were your thoughts?
I said in the video, I do not recommend the product. I purely busted it because I had the credit and because I just wanted to show you guys, so that you guys, because my goal is when we make these videos is to show you guys a product. That way it can help you decide whether or not you want to get one for yourself. I like to feel like that's the community part of this channel.
Sure.
And so I felt like it was necessary to try at least once, see what would happen. Maybe something amazing would happen. You can't get Patrick Mahomes autos. You can't get a Tom Brady auto.
Yep.
Weirder stuff has happened.
And I come in and bring the get off my lawn mentality to it. Now,
it's definitely it's like there's not really a basketball comparison to it. It's just Score just kind of lives on its own, and it's not the greatest.
So the basketball comparison used to be in my day, basketball comparison used to be what Upper Deck made was called Collector's Choice, kind of the lower end tier, product. Score historically was kind of a lower, Score thrived in the junk wax era as far as football, and it made its way throughout. All the way up to today as a lower tier product. I mean, at times I remember Score in the early 2000s being $1 pack product. Now there were less cards in the pack. I mean, it was like, maybe 10. But I remember it being a kind of a geared for the younger kids. Also, it was geared for the set collectors because they were big sets. And you could still get autographs. That was one of the things that's always been cool about Score is they've always had a lot of autographs, a good mix of veterans and rookies.
Except when they give you rewards instead of an auto.
Yeah, that's a whole nother topic altogether. And we'll talk about that for sure. But as far as Score, I've done, a lot of research. I love football. I love basketball. I love football too. I did my tours through both as far as collecting back and forth. And, I never really collected Score. It was kind of the lower end product, but, because I love football so much and I love, North Texas, we've got an athlete, we've got a former North Texas athlete, Jalen Darden, who's going to be a punt returner / receiver for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
And he's going to take that L week 1 against the Dallas Cowboys.
His rookie card. Yeah. Anyway, so I've got a vested interest. I'm a big college sports fan, college football fan. So that always gets me excited at this time of year when all the new football products come out. And Score being the first licensed football product to come out, I'm excited to see. I don't mind, and I'll get into this. I don't necessarily mind if they're in the college jerseys because I am a college football fan as well. But just to give you a rundown for those of you guys and gals that are looking at Score as a possible, if you hadn't had a chance to look at a box break, or if you're just starting to look at them now, to give you an idea, did a little research as far as kind of the product itself. One of the things that stands true with Score is it is a what you would probably classify as a retail product. Quality wise, the card thickness is, your standard stock, pretty high gloss. The pictures are pretty good. That's another thing that's kind of with Score, your photography is really good. That is kind of the big thing. And I've always liked the parallels. Berkan's showing a parallel right now of what is that?
Hot Wilson. Rookies, Zach Wilson, New York Jets, number 2 pick.
Yeah, so those parallels, so you've got your hot rookies as one of the inserts, and then the parallels are like your red zone Score, your end zone gold.
I have a red zone right here, 2020 of Philip Lindsay. But,
yep, there's artist proofs. There's lots of different parallels that are really neat, and they have a good shine to them, kind of a refractor feel to it as well. But the autographs are really what sell the product. There are 400 plus cards in the set. There are also 400 autographs in the set. That's what's pretty amazing. And it's not all scrubs. I mean, you've got guys like Mahomes, Breeze, Brady, Elway, Peyton Manning, Randy Moss,
Prescott,
Russell Wilson, Dak Prescott, Jerry Rice, Troy Aikman, Barry Sanders, Terry Bradshaw. So there's a lot of really good veteran autos in the set. Ben Roethlisberger, a lot of guys who are tokens to their teams historically and present day. There's the whole rookie class that is anybody that anyone would want is in this as well. A lot of kind of skill positions. I've already looked to see what redemptions are in the set just from what I've seen.
Zach Wilson, redemption, yeah.
Pitts, Kyle Pitts, the tight end, Rondell Moore, the wide receiver from Purdue, and Jamar Chase, the wide receiver from LSU, are all redemptions for those of you guys who are looking at doing some breaks. I think Score is a really good product if you can get in at a low cost for a box break. Like if you can get it in for a team box break or a let's say you're a Cowboys fan, for example, or even like Tampa Bay, and let's say you didn't Tampa Bay, maybe not a good example, but Cowboys are a great example. So there's not any rookies that anybody's super pumped about. I mean, defensive rookies don't push the needle. They don't move the needle. But if you can get the Cowboys at a cheap price, you could luck your way into a Prescott auto, a Troy Aikman auto, something like that.
Which Pearson right here.
Yeah, there's Micah Parsons.
Parsons, not Pearson's. Oh my gosh. I'm a fake fan.
So you're a casual. So there's a really, you can sneak your way in if you can get into a good value into some good autographs. But I mean, is it worth the cost? And that was the thing that you and I were talking about. What'd you pay? You paid $300 roughly.
Well, I didn't, like I said, I used credit, so I paid roughly around like 80, but the box value is 300.
I've seen everywhere I've seen on the secondary market, as far as I say secondary market, like Blowout and Steel City and all those places where you buy the product if you don't have a LCS that's next to you, is $350. So that's kind of what I've seen online.
Yeah.
And I feel like that is just ridiculous.
It is crazy. I will say
that's $35 a pack.
I will say that that is wild. You're right. But before you dive into it more, I will say that you're at least getting 400 cards. Not that I'm not trying to defend the price whatsoever, because I agree it is completely garbage. It should not be. But at least if you're really like hardcore into it, and if you sell each card, basically the way I look at it, each card would sell around $1 if you were to sell
it. Yes.
Yeah, but most of the time they'll go for close to $1. I think you'd have a decent chance if you actually put the time and effort to do it. You'd get your money back, but the issue is you'd have to do it on eBay, and the fees will bite you back down below. But there's at least
like 13% or whatever.
There's at least eBay that to consider. At least you're getting a lot of cards.
Yeah, you're definitely getting a lot of cards. I mean, I think in the world that we are in today, as far as trading cards and box breaks and all that stuff, I think that everybody that's, in the hobby and as an investor or collector or whatever you call yourself, that's joined in the last couple of years probably sees that value as far as like the number of product cards you're getting in the set, kind of the things like that. But I mean, historically, this set was always that big, and it was always the same. I mean, it was basically if you go back and look at old scorecards, it's basically the same stuff. And so that's why I have a hard time with it. And if you look at pricing, I know I watched the video that you guys, that we did. And I say that you busted. I wasn't there. So
you were there in spirit. I mentioned you. I said you'd be excited with the mean green pull. So you're there in spirit.
I was there and I was definitely there in spirit. So what I heard you kind of say is that, the value necessarily wasn't there. And that's what's hard. I mean, I know you mentioned, if you sell every card individually, but I did research and looked at the autographs. And you mentioned in the video that if you were looking at flipping this, you would need to do it quickly. And that is definitely the case. Because I look back and I see, even let's compare it to last year, and you see like Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow. I mean, if I pulled one of those comparatively for this year, if you pull a Trevor Lawrence autograph, you're probably pumped. You're like, oh yeah, I pulled Trevor Lawrence. Even if you pull one to like number to 10, that would be pretty awesome, and I'd be pretty pumped about it. However, price wise, you're going to get the most money for it the quickest you can get on eBay.
Yep.
And I mean, that's like that for any product. That's not anything new.
No, but it's especially essential with college uniform cards, though.
Mm-hmm. The more products that come out, the lower the value of that card becomes. And a great example is like Justin Herbert, for example.
Right.
His most recent sale of a score autograph. So this is true score college uniform, not Chronicles or any of that. True score college uniform autograph. Most recent sale was $285. So not even the cost of a box. You could just
go buy tempting, honestly.
Justin Herbert right now. The base rookies go for like $4 to $5. So I was looking right now. Trevor Lawrence base rookies are selling anywhere from $10 to $25.
Yeah. Rookies was at bids was at like $17, I think.
Yeah, and those were going for higher into that. So it's pretty crazy. And then it's because it's new. Mm-hmm. So then you look at Joe Burrow. So I looked at a Joe Burrow auto, numbered 4 of 10.
Yeah, this is interesting because this is a unique thing where we can actually compare. But you go ahead.
So that one was sold. This is a sold for $350. Mm-hmm. The almost exact price of the current score box. It sold for $350.
And this is a gold Joe Burrow, so it's out of 10. And when Adam told me this, I thought that was super cool because I specifically remember that same Joe Burrow card also out of 10 in our local card shop on display, and they were selling it. And this is like beginning of when 2020 cards were starting to release, and they were selling it for a high $700. I think they listed at $900. I'm pretty sure it's sold around $700,
like $700.
$800.
Yeah. And that was probably in May or June of last year.
Yeah.
So that just shows you kind of how that product looks and what to do. And if you're looking to purchase one of those cards, maybe do it later in the season, do it, or even after the season. Obviously we know the ups and downs of the season when it comes to football. So yeah, I think score as a whole, I mean, I'm probably going to do a couple. I know it's kind of a sneaky thing to do and not it's frowned upon, but I'll probably do a player break of Jalen Darden, just for fun, through eBay.
I don't think it's sneaky or shady when it's a UNT player.
Yeah, it's something.
I think that's one of those players that people don't care.
I followed him since he's. I know his story. I know all about him. I followed him from when he was wearing number 84 as a freshman at North Texas. So it's pretty cool to see. It's the first guy that we've had drafted since 2004. We broke the draft streak.
Big deal.
The longest draft streak in NFL history. So
for the giggles, I'm gonna find every one of him that hits eBay and snag him before Adam can.
You're gonna bid against me. Is what's gonna happen. We're gonna raise the price up.
Be the entire bid for us.
I'm pretty sure I'm doing that with Dwight Powell.
I think you are.
All the Dwight Powell mosaic stuff's values going up because I'm overpaid. I know I overpaid for one card because I was just because it was like 1 a.m. and I was in bed and I was like, hey guys, gals, everyone, don't shop on eBay at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Dude, it's a dark rabbit hole. Full of only bad decisions. There's a great quote in How I Met Your Mother that says nothing good ever happens after 2 a.m. For eBay. Yep. It's nothing good ever happens when you're in bed under your covers. Nothing
that's
good
right.
ever happens.
You're not going to buy anything that you're going to overpay, and you're going to look at it and be like, what did I do? Why did I pay that much for that card? And then I look back and I go, I paid $14 for a card that sold for $1.99 like 6 weeks ago. So
yeah, I mean,
stupid.
It is something. I mean, NFL score, though, I will also say, I think it's a cool, granted, again, price way over, but I think we've already.
Yeah, I think $200 is where it should be. $200.
I think that's fair.
I think because I kind of looked at it, I said, you know what? If I'm Panini, I go, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take out 2 of the autographs. Or just take 1 of the autographs out. So it's 3 autos. That's
essentially what I got.
Because honestly, we'll talk about that in a sec. Honestly, who cares about an autograph from an offensive lineman or a defensive lineman? Sorry, offensive and defensive linemen. I played a tight end a little bit, so I did a little bit of the blocking stuff. Sorry, but nobody wants an offensive or defensive lineman autograph.
It is what it is.
And let's get rid of some of these defensive backs and current players autographs out of this set. I know that there's kickers and punters that have autographs in the set too. And I know this is the only product that they're in. If you want to keep that, that's fine. But I know that that's why they have 4 autographs in a box.
Mm-hmm.
Let's kick it down to 3 or even 2. And let's drop the price to $200. And even that is kind of high for Score, but comparatively, and let's make it a little bit, let's make it a little bit more reasonable so that, families and kids and, people that aren't, people that have kids can go, freely bust stuff like that. And they're not just pushing through, breakers and stuff.
Yeah. And it is a shame that is that price point, because what I was about to say was Score is an amazing product if you're purely collecting like anybody, like any
great
player, because you're getting
got like 6 or 7 of every team.
Like I think I pulled everybody. I pulled like every quarterback.
You get like
Brady,
90
Mahomes,
rookies.
Prescott, everybody, 90 rookies. I mean, it is a great set if you're just purely collecting. And the reality is, like, collectors who do that are the kids.
Yeah, it's
the
only starter
ones who really
set.
truly care for doing that kind of collection. And so that's really where it's kind of a bummer. But
this is the set where you get your your binder out and your 9-page sleeves, and you go through as a kid and you put you don't even care about the numbers. I mean, I
don't care if it's dinged either.
Yeah, this is the set where you sit down on your living room floor and you put all the players in the sleeves, in the 9-page sleeve with all the players that are the same team, or things like that. That's what this set is for. And so I think it's kind of and I know that's what's going to happen at retail. And that's probably why, like you mentioned before, that, when this product hits retail shelves, it's probably the product that stays on the retail shelves the longest.
Yeah.
Because it really adds a very little value as far as retail is concerned, because the odds of pulling an autograph for, I would assume,
you're probably going to get a mem card.
Slim to none. Yeah, there is a large set of mem cards. I looked at the checklist that aren't obviously available in hobby. So yeah, we'll move on. But that's how I feel about Score. So
yeah, I mean, my feelings are it's just one of those products I'm bummed, because I know specifically what target audience will appreciate it the most, and they're probably the ones who aren't going to be able to get it. But yeah, moving on to, like we just briefly mentioned, retail. Big retail situations happening. I don't know if this is directly correlated, but I'm a part of many Facebook groups. Just like, because Facebook is a great place if you want to trade, sell, just share overall hits. It's a great place for that. And I saw an article about how people were arguing at Target and a gun was drawn. And I am wondering if that's kind of what I'm pretty sure that's what led to Target saying that they weren't going to sell any more sport cards. They're going to take it away. Now, Panini released a statement that that's not the case, that they will have them and that they'll only really sell them on Fridays. But it's just crazy that we got to this point.
I mean, it's something else. I've had my opportunity. I had my opportunity before. I mentioned in a previous episode that I went and did basically a 3-hour tour of sitting and waiting for the retail stock person for Target to show up. This was probably almost 3 months ago now, which is the last time that I found anything on retail shelves. I haven't had a chance to really look that much, but that's the last time I found anything, and I was able to get quite a bit of things, one of every UPC. But the rumors had kind of gone out for a while that Target was doing this. And I think, I went to a Target on Friday about a month ago, and I got there before they opened, and one of the managers came out and said, listen, we don't have any product. We're not doing that. Some of the other Targets are. We're currently not doing that. Our stockage still comes on certain days and kind of whenever. And me and probably 2 other people were out there waiting, and we all were kind of like bummed. And one of them actually like called one of his buddies and was like, oh, this Target's doing it. And he jumped in his car and ran. I was like, drive safe. Like, cause it was like 30 minutes away. And he was like, oh, I gotta get there now. So it's a frenzy for sure. A feeding frenzy. We're all card sharks trying to get stuff.
Yeah. I think I've been lucky. I haven't been lucky at Target at all. The one time I happened to stumble upon a vendor coming in, it was all Pokemon. which isn't terrible to some people. That's like Christmas, but to me, it's not the right move. But Walmart, I've been more successful
with Pokemon. If you haven't watched it, people go back and watch Berkan open up Pokemon cards.
I'm so
because
confused.
it's a funny thing to do. It's probably better than I would do. I know probably
so
4
confused.
of them, but it was pretty entertaining.
It is. I may do some more if I find some more, just because I think it is entertaining. It's just it's fun. That's more fun. That's one I know I'm not going to really make anything off or really collect. It's just seeing what happens.
Yeah.
But I've definitely been more successful in Walmart, and I felt better about going to Walmart because I haven't set a date and time, and I've just been kind of been able to watch and see like when packs are starting to appear, and I was able to pinpoint it. So I was twice successful. In going and waiting around a certain time. The third time I went, I wasn't. But I think when you set a day and a time, you're asking for the crazies to come out. You know, not calling you crazy that you went.
No, I disagree. I mean, I think the date and time helps.
I think it helps, but also it's like it's a mass of people coming, and you just know that I don't know, when it's early in the morning, you're waiting in long lines and you don't get what you came for. People are just going to be aggravated. And I can imagine that fights will break out.
Yeah. I mean, I understand. I think the alternative is, if you're lucky in the situation that you found yourself in with Walmart, is you've kind of stumbled upon it. I think what ends up happening most of the time, though, without a scheduled date and time, is that the consumers, and I think I'm proof of it, and a lot of consumers will figure out when the vendor is coming. And because at the end of the day, the vendors are people, and they want to keep a schedule, and they want to make their lives as easy as possible too. So they're not going to change up their distribution day every single week or 2 weeks or whatever, because they probably have a route that they go to. They probably change that up a bit, but it's going to end up being what it is anyway. I mean, I'm proof of it, because when I went, and I still need to pop the video up. I'll try to, maybe we'll do it here. And what I'll show is, like, I was there on a vendor day. It wasn't a communicated day. There wasn't like a Facebook group or anything that said, here's the day, this is the time. It took me going to the Target 3 or 4 times in a row within a 3 week period, each week, to figure out when the vendor was coming. And I wasn't the only one. And by the time that the vendor was fully stocked and done, there were 30 plus people there waiting. So I get it. I understand the luck part of just walking and stumbling upon it is awesome, but I think that it's somewhat inevitable that those crowds are going to be there anyway. So you might as well do as much as you can to help control the situation and be prepared. Because I think that was the other thing, is a lot of the Targets and Walmarts found themselves in a situation where they weren't quite prepared for 30 people to show up at once. And this is them, this is them saying, okay, this is how we're going to be prepared every Friday, whatever. And that's the other thing that we haven't even mentioned. They may not even have stock every Friday. They may hold it, and they may only have, they may only have Pokemon, or they may only have Magic the Gathering, or they may only have
Magic the Gathering. It's gonna boom.
Old 90s, those pre-made, boxes with like cello boxes full of already opened cards, stuff like that. They only have that stuff. They may not have, the newest drop, or, the stuff that's been out. So I think Panini, the thing that really stuck with me this week with Panini's statement is the fact that they're acknowledging the issue. To me, that is the first step of any kind of change. I'm not sure if the change is going to be something that we want or like. I don't know if that means, I've read, lots of rumors and different things over the last year that the price points are going to change. And I don't think that's going to happen, because I feel like the margin for the vendor / retailer is so small already. And I just don't see them changing the price. That's a whole nother issue as to whether or not they should. But I mean, it's going to be, this is the way they're doing it. And I think it's going to be a good solution as best you can. I mean,
yeah, I honestly wouldn't be surprised if, I don't think they'll pull retail product out of Target or Walmart or anything like that because they can't. But I would not be surprised if two things happen. One, Panini starts deliberately supplying local card shops with retail product.
I think that's already happening.
Well, yes, but they're not sold at the retail price.
That's right. But that's to me, that's one of the problems that we're facing now is that hobby shops are selling retail product and they're getting it through a vendor.
Right. But I think this will be a kind of like Nintendo has like an agreement where they can sell it, but they have to sell it at this price. Right. I think you'll see something like that happen.
That needs to happen. Yes,
but I do think the price will go up.
Yeah.
But not by much. I think you'll start seeing the retail product for true retail around $30 to $40, like a blaster.
Yeah. I mean, blaster boxes when I was, full on in the 90s, I think we're about $29.99. Like they had levels. They had like a $19.99 and they had a $29.99 blaster box. I remember Metal Championship 97-98 basketball being $29.99, I believe, for a blaster box. So I think that is where I agree. I do think that needs to happen. But I that was the number one thing when I first started, when you and I were both kind of realizing how crazy retail was getting. And I went to a local hobby shop for the first time in probably a year, and they were selling retail for $75 a blaster box, stuff like that, of basketball, Mosaic, and other things. And I was like, how are they getting this product? So are they going to the retail stores and purchasing them from the stores?
I'm pretty sure that's what happens. That's what happens.
And then selling them.
I think there's some vendor agreements
because that's a conflict of interest. I would think. I mean, this is probably a harsh statement, but somewhat of a conflict. Not a conflict of interest. I mean, but it is a conflict. I mean, that's.
It is. It absolutely is. And it's just something though that I do think some distributors do sell their retail product.
Right.
So I think that's another way, but I do know, cause I'm pretty sure that there are shops out there that will go and buy, and that, cause they won't have like cases, they'll have like 3 or something.
Yeah, well, and at the end of the day, I mean, what is the difference between them doing it and
no, there's no
me
difference.
Going and buying it and selling it?
That's where the agreement would come into play.
But that's where you're a vendor of Panini product, so you should kind of be held to a different standard. I don't know. I don't want to make people mad that are card store owners or anything like that. But at the end of the day, that's how I feel, and I think it's not fair. I mean, fair is a silly word. But it's just the fact that you can't find retail product is something different. Now, I don't think that's happening as much anymore, but still, it's the fact that it even has ever happened is just kind of shame on you kind of feeling as far as store owners.
I've never been upset about it. I've never been upset about them reselling retail product because like you said, it's the same thing if I were to do it. So why can I?
Right.
I've done it. So why can I?
Well, and they struggle to get
it's not like it's easy for them.
They struggle to get a product to sell as well. And I mean, that's a tough situation and a whole nother deal. But
and you can't expect them to, if they do get a blaster for $20, you can't expect them to sell for $20. What's the point? What was the point of that whole situation?
Yeah, and that's where I feel like it's a different thing. There's a higher standard because they're certified vendors of Panini products. And so that to me, that's like, you are a hobby shop. You are a certified, whatever, you have a retail, you have a connection to get the product to sell.
But there's no price agreement though. That's the thing that's missing in the hobby, is that there's no, and I say missing because it's a good thing and it could be a bad
thing.
There
is for retail. There is a price agreement.
There is retail,
that is part of negotiated deal with the vendors.
Yeah.
Is
but
that $19.99 and whatever.
Yeah, but for example, there's a brand new hobby shop. I haven't told you this. There's a brand new hobby shop by like my house, like brand new within 20 minutes. I was super excited, but literally everything they have is $100 more expensive than our local hobby shop.
Yep.
And like, that's great because I have a second place I can go to, but I'm saying that's where like, there's no price agreement for like the hobby stuff, even though they do get it through vendors and everything like that. It's whatever price they want.
Markup.
They can literally be like, just take like $20 off.
And honestly, do you know who's doing that the most? Panini. That's with the Dutch auction. The Dutch auction is what did a lot of this. Doing those, and I mean, good for them. They're making. I mean, people are paying for it. We're buying it. But I mean, it is kind of that's I keep mentioning it. That's the get off my lawn, thought process. But I mean, the Dutch auction kind of made it that way.
Yeah, I will say though, I do think it is pretty telling though that the Prism basketball went all the way down to its lowest Dutch auction, and it went down to like its final seconds before it sold out.
Yeah,
I thought that was a really good win for just collectors.
It's gonna change eventually.
I don't think it'll ever go down to what it was a couple years ago, but I think this whole system will change. I can't agree with that. We will move on because I'm sure we can debate this forever, and you will have this debate many, many times.
Listeners, followers, watchers, subscribers, tell us what you think. In the comments,
please leave it in the comments. Leave it in the comments below, and I will segue that to before our last topic. Quickly, just for watching the videos, being a subscriber on the pod, we want to give back. We want to do giveaways for you guys. We did one at the very beginning, and you guys really enjoyed it. And that was also our most popular episode. Coincidence? I think not.
I think not.
But anyway, so we're going to do a giveaway. We mentioned earlier that Adam had and by earlier, I mean episodes earlier. We are officially on the go. We are going to give away a Kobe Bryant EX card that we'll showcase, and we'll put a picture up here so you guys can see it. To save Adam from fumbling, trying to find it. We'll do a nice picture for you guys to see right here, but we're going to give this card away, and all you have to do to win it is go to our YouTube channel, like the video, leave a comment, and we just gave you the perfect comment. Tell us your opinions. Finley's even showing you guys a toy right now. If you can see that.
Here's Finley. Here's Finley. She's going to give you her
He's giving away a dog toy too.
Her cow toy.
Yeah, so win a cow toy and a Kobe Bryant EX from what year was it?
2005, I believe, EX.
Yeah, it's like a value of like $60 to $70, probably more.
Yeah, something like that. I mean, before raw.
Yeah. So it's going to be good. All you need to do is subscribe to BA Impacts, like the video, and leave a comment on BA Impacts episode 6. We'll announce a winner episode 8, so we'll give you guys plenty of time to do it. And also, if you're not a YouTube listener, if you're strictly a podcast traditional guy, I'm not leaving you behind. If you go to our podcast on any station, any at all, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple, Amazon, we're on them all. All you need to do is follow us, download, subscribe, whatever it is, leave a review. Preference is a 5-star review, but we can't tell you what to do. Leave a review, 5-star review, and we will announce a winner episode 8 for those who do that. And if you do it, I will already see it on Apple Podcasts. But if you are doing it on a different platform, please go to the BA Impacts Instagram page. Follow if you want. You don't have to, but send me a message there. I check all my messages. They are open. And it's just show me proof that you did it, and you'll be entered. Again, we'll announce both these winners episode 8. So please do that.
What's the second winner going to get?
I didn't even tell you what the second winner is going to get. The second winner is going to get a beautiful, beautiful silver mystery pack of NBA cards, all silvers.
All silver prism, or not necessarily prism, but all silver
variety.
Cool.
Silvers, rookies, vets, and I'm not talking Dwight Powell's. I'm talking like Shaq and all those like Hall of Famers and All-Stars and rookies. So there you go. Pretty good product. I'll match the value of the Kobe, so it's fair. And you can't win them both, but there will be 2 different winners. So that is the giveaway. And so to quickly close things out, there's been some drama with the Green Bay Packers. So quickly, Adam, what are your thoughts on the whole Green Bay situation? Should Aaron Rodgers leave? And do you think Jordan Love will step up?
So should he leave? I mean, I don't think so. I think that if you go back in history and you look at quarterbacks that have left the team that they were kind of most of their career and went to another team, there's really only the 2 that everybody that are recent that were super, super, super successful. And that is Brady and Peyton Manning. Mm-hmm. You look at Favre went NFC Championship game, say what you want about that. I feel like they should have gone to the Super Bowl. That was the Bounty
Vikings.
Gate and all that stuff.
That was Vikings Saints, right?
Yeah, the Bounty Gate deal. And I remember watching that game thinking that they got screwed. But that being said, regardless of that, most of like Joe Namath, Joe Montana, like a lot of these like big quarterbacks of history that have done this have not been super successful. And I think that it's going to depend on, I mean, the teams that they're talking about him going to, like Oakland and Denver, all have question marks outside of the quarterback room. They all have weapons, but I don't know. I mean, I think is it going to happen? I think there's probably a 10 to 20% chance that he goes somewhere else. I think there's a higher chance that he retires. I think I honestly feel like there's more of a chance that he Barry Sanders it and says, you know what? Peace out. I'm out. And I'm going to go do Jeopardy and do celebrity appearances. And
he did just get engaged.
Yeah. And go do,
new
Jeopardy and discount double check and State Farm commercials. And, just like Jordan, people will probably remember him if that happens for being in commercials and his products rather than, his career. So that being said, I Green Bay needs to work it out. As far as Jordan Love, being a fan of North Texas, we played Utah State a couple of years ago when Jordan Love was a quarterback, and he is good, but his competition level, and nobody was screaming and raving about him last year when he was in training camp or when he was. I mean, I know it was COVID and they didn't get a lot of like on-field stuff, but nobody was jumping up and down saying this guy is legit. So that's the thing that worries me a little bit. And they signed Blake Bortles recently as well. So another guy that kind of has washed out a bit. What are your thoughts?
I thought the Blake Bortles signing was kind of telling that maybe something is happening or in the works. I don't think he'll retire. I think he's a pretty competitive guy. I think he'd want to go out at least on better terms. And I do think his legacy matters to him. Honestly, I think it does. And it'd honestly be a shame if he did retire. I would like him to go to the AFC and not worry about him anymore. I'd be perfectly happy if he went to, the Raiders or something like that, or maybe the Rams. Who knows?
Raiders, the Broncos, the Rams aren't going to take him. They've got Stafford.
They got Stafford, but I don't know.
That's the guy that would be upset if he went to the AFC because he'd be like, "Goodness, I just got out of his division, dude. He's the only thing that's been holding me back." It's probably what he's been thinking.
Yeah. But I'm not I don't think he'll retire. I do think he'll probably get moved because it's one of those things as an organization. He's already called out the GM wanting him to be fired. And at that point, you got to realize you're either going to keep him around long enough for yourself to get fired, or you're going to lose him for nothing. So,
the Green Bay is a weird organization when it comes to this kind of stuff because they're owned by the fans.
Yeah.
So they're owned like a public company. So it's kind of a weird deal. And, I think that they need to fire the GM. If I was if they had an owner, I feel like the GM would already be gone and Aaron Rodgers would be, the king of the castle because dang it, he is the king of the castle.
I mean, he's the quarterback. That's the modern NFL. The quarterback is the king.
He's going to be Jackie Moon. He's going to be the owner. He's going to be the general manager, and he's going to be the player.
Yeah. And my thoughts to close this things out, my thoughts on Jordan Love, I wouldn't go drop hundreds of dollars on like a Jordan Love auto, but I'd be excited if you pulled him. I'd be excited for that potential. But I don't really think it's go all in. Jordan Love is going to be the next big thing. I do think rookie quarterbacks who have a year of being a backup traditionally do tend to work out pretty well versus the ones who kind of thrown into fire. Very unique cases like Justin Herbert, obviously. Joe Burrow was doing pretty well.
Yep.
But even Hurts before, and he was kind of questionable. He didn't get a full season as a backup. But like Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, those guys, they're all backups first.
Even Aaron Rodgers.
So I think because of that, I'm not going to say, he's not going to do well because I think you didn't get a preseason. You got a whole season to kind of learn and understand. So I think he'll do well. And I think the Packers won't be I don't think they'll contend, but I think they'd be like an 8-8 team at least. But
without Rodgers?
Without Rodgers. Yeah, with Love. So that's kind of my thoughts on Love potential. I think first year 8-8. is kind of what you can expect. But granted, I haven't seen much of him. I don't think a lot of us have outside of UNT fans, that one game against Utah State. But that is my closing thoughts, and I'll leave it there. Thank you guys so much for watching. Do not forget, leave a comment, like the video, subscribe if you haven't, win a nice Kobe. Vice versa with the podcast platforms, win a nice mystery pack of really cool goodies. And that is all I have. Again, I'm your host, Berkan and
And I'm Adam.
And thank you guys so much for tuning in to Being Packed. We will see you guys next week.